Welcome to the latest edition of News at 10 here on TV3, also live on DSTV channel 279. My name is Grace Hamwa Asari. First, let's take a look at the news highlights for the day. Deputy General Secretary of the National Democratic Congress, Kwaku Anyidohu, has failed in his bid to unseat his boss, Johnson Asiedu Nketia. Out of the over 9,000 delegates who voted, Kwaku secured 1,625 when his votes were done counting. Johnson Asiedu Nketia will be serving as General Secretary for the fourth consecutive time. The National Democratic Congress, NDC, is considering conducting its next national executive elections electronically. This was after delegates at the 9th National Congress of the party expressed frustration over long hours spent in voting. District Police Commander of Iswa in the Bosume Freho district of Ashanti region is battling for his life after he sustained gunshot wounds on his neck. 4 other persons, including a police officer, 2 community police assistants and driver of the district chief executive of the area, were also shot. The Food and Drugs Authority, FDA, has confiscated loads of unauthorized health products in the Ashanti region. The products include unregistered sex and body enhancement cosmetics and drugs. On the foreign front, British Prime Minister Theresa May has said toppling her would risk delaying Brexit, and she would not let talk of a leadership challenge distract her from a critical work of negotiations. Since unveiling a draft divorce deal with the European Union on Wednesday, May's premiership has been thrust into crisis by the resignation of several ministers, including her Brexit minister and some lawmakers from her own party seeking to oust her. Many thanks for joining us. Now, the National Democratic Congress is considering conducting its next national executives elections electronically. This was after delegates at the 9th National Congress of the party expressed frustration over long hours spent in voting. Reports by Salom Amenya.
In 2014, the NDC Congress expanded the Electoral College from about 4,000 to over 9,000. Delegates at the 9th Delegate Congress in Accra were frustrated after the snail-paced voting process caused anxiety amongst them. Many condemned the process, which lasted close to 16 hours, describing it as rather torturous after only 7 polling booths were created for the over 9,000 delegates.
When you are having a program of such nature, some of these setbacks definitely will happen. But I'm really happy with my fellow delegates. They have been patient because of the love and the fact that they want to achieve something for the party. They've endured the hardship and the setbacks that they have gone through.
There were also claims that delegates from the Bron-Ahafo region were made to vote late as a way of intimidating the delegates who many suspect will vote for Johnson Asiedu Nketia. Incumbent General Secretary Johnson Asiedu Nketia, who is seeking re-election's campaign coordinator Alhaji Mohammed Kweku Doku, corroborated the intimidation of their supporters.
Yes, they were intimidated, but you can't say it's deliberate. Looking at the huge number of people that this Congress handled, if you are somebody who have worked as a party leader before, yes, to the bystander, you say that is deliberate.
Thus, Greater Accra Regional Chairman of the NDC, Adekoka, insisted the use of electronic voting is long overdue.
These days, with our mobile phones, we can just press the knob and then we are home and dry. We should modernize election. This paperwork is too long. This has dragged on because we have 65 people contesting. Some posts are 18, 19. It's a lot and it takes time. So we need to revisit all these things.
Former sports minister and member of the NDC, Elvis Efie-Ankra, explains the choice of the Fantasy Dome as venue.
Unfortunately, because of the various renovations and the tournaments going on, we couldn't get any stadium. We thought that we could do it at Gomwa. Again, that was a challenge because all the 4 different dates that we gave them were dates that had already been booked. Per our constitution, this Congress had to happen before the end of this year. And linked to that, the presidential flag bearership, which has to happen before the 7th of December.
In the quarters of the NDC, though the Ghana Police Service detained personnel to maintain law and order at the 9th NDC Delegate Congress in Accra, party vigilante groups, the Azoka Boys and the Hawks, had constituted themselves into security guards. The event was, however, without clashes with police personnel.
It is unclear what caused the scuffle, but information TV3 gathered was that they were infuriated after a police officer decided to search one of their members. The media was also not spared for capturing the incident. Some also accused the government of recruiting party boys into the police service, a move they are not comfortable with. This brings into fore concerns by many that if care is not taken, political vigilante groups will grow to become monsters we cannot deal with as a nation. The ruling government is still grappling to tame its vigilante groups who have held the country hostage at different times. The police officers were fully armed and ready to provide security, but the Azoka Boys and the Hawks were also on hand. A move the party has defended, saying it is an internal arrangement. The new breed of venomous vigilante groups, the Hawks, were groomed by a former Deputy Ashanti Regional Minister, Joseph Yamin.
You're still watching NEWSAT10. We return with more stories after this break. Don't go away. Welcome back. If you just tuned in, this is NEWSAT10 on TV3, which is also live on DSTV channel 279. Government has been tasked to show commitment in the 2019 budget by ensuring that at least 70 to 80% of the allocated funds are disbursed for effective implementation. Public interest advocate Dr. Enes Kwaku says executive government over the years have not shown enough commitment in releasing funds for projects implementation.
Dr. Kwaku observes the 2019 budget holds a lot of promise towards the economic, social and educational growth of the country if government follows through with implementation.
A lot of allocation has been made, but allocation does not constitute disbursement. And does not constitute the fact that we are able to rake up the necessary revenue in order to be able to disburse the allocated funds. If we are able to even follow through with 70 to 80% of the implementation, a lot of progress and development will be achieved.
Scrutinizing the budget, Dr. Kwaku commended government for allocating more funds to the health sector.
I want some of the allocated funds being used for rural incentives to ensure equitable distribution of health personnel. I think it tends to be lopsided.
Dr. Kwaku applauded government for allocating 180 million cedis to the Special Prosecutor's Office in its bid to fight corruption.
And now the Ghana Revenue Authority has embarked on a sensitization program on the implementation of the excise tax stamp in the Volta region. The exercise took the task force to Ho municipality and Aflao in the Ketu South municipality, two main business hubs of the Volta region.
The task force visited wholesale and retail shops. Shop owners and attendants were taken through lessons on why the need for them to have their product affixed with a tax stamp. The introduction of the excise tax stamp, according to the GRA, is to help control importation of foreign and local products. This is to shore up government's revenue. It would also help check under declaration of goods. Members of the task force explained the need for the introduction of the tax stamp.
If there is no excise tax stamp on the product, they should not receive them into their shops. And they should not let any product go out, any excisable product go out without the stamps. Our next step is they should not receive them into their shops. And they should not let any product go out, any excisable product go out without the stamps. Our next step is that if we come back, we are going to seize all products that do not have the stamps.
The excise tax stamp is a means of identifying goods on which excise tax has been paid or yet to be paid.
So you want to make sure the next time you're purchasing a product, it has the tax stamp on it. That's how we wrap up this edition of the late edition of NEWSAT10 on TV3, which is also live on DSTV channel 279. My name is Grace Hamwasari. Good night.